And good afternoon, everybody. And today we are live here from the ANZAC Hall of the in Featherston, and we've got the Featherston General Ward councillors standing for election. But with every election, there's one thing standing in their way, and that's your vote. And welcome to the Featherston General Ward. It's in the Ballot show and getting ready to see which candidates best get your ticks for it. So today, welcome candidates. How is everyone here?
Wonderful.
Cool. Excellent.
Well, that's good to introduce candidates. I'd like to introduce my question host, my GE friend, Claire Blakely. Make sure you get your microphone if you want to say a couple of words. How are you?
Kia ora. Great, Sam. Thank you very much.
It's good to be a person that's here, both of us talking about our competitive weekends.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, so each candidate will start off here with an opening statement on why they should be one of the three next councillors for the Featherston General Ward. I hope I have got that correct. Three? Yeah. It's always confusing trying to remember what's which. At least I know the voting system here is first past the post. So, which feels very awkward for me because I live in STV territory. Okay, Karen, you get to go up first. Your opening statement.
Oh, right.
And your microphone is set behind you.
Okay, we good?
Good.
Yep. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Karen Coltman, taku ingoa. I have lived in Featherston for 17 years. I have lived in Auckland and Wellington and been on Featherston Community Centre Board and the Rugby Club Board. I've watched a lot of change over the last 17 years. Good things and not so good things. And I think because my 20 years of working in government departments for ministers and as a reporter means that I can bring a lot of knowledge to the Wairarapa, and I felt it was time to do so. Yeah, that's me.
Okay, next up, Rachel, your opening statement.
Kia ora koutou, ko Rachel Clark tōku ingoa, ngā mihi mahana kia koutou. I'm standing for the Featherston Paetu Mokai Ward, having lived here now for 6.5 years. I love the character of this town and its generous community spirit, and I'm committed to seeing Featherston and willing to listen for you. I'm not afraid to ask questions. Safe, inclusive and sustainable communities, developing a resilient infrastructure for future generations, and providing positive representation to council with clear communication and feedback to the community in order to build trust. Ngā mihi.
Kia ora. I'm Colin Olds. I'm currently a sitting councillor. I was first elected in 2013 and I've sort of hung around ever since. I guess I bring a level of expertise in terms of my business background, which I've been involved in since serving my apprenticeship as a motor mechanic some many years ago, and then venturing into the aged care sector, where I spent 14 years. I've got a lot of unfinished stuff that I'd quite like to get out of the way on council before I retire, and certainly our council will look quite different under Local Waters Done Well. So I'm excited about that chapter in this council's history. I'm also excited about what we can bring to our community in the next 3 years. Thank you very much.
Kia ora tātou. I'm Rupert Watson. I've lived in Featherston about 18 years. The reason why I'm standing for council, I sort of got nudged in that direction and sort of went the other way and then thought, oh my gosh, hang on, is actually the quality of the mayoral candidates, particularly Fran Wild. I think we're incredibly lucky that someone of her experience and expertise is actually prepared, you know, to put the mahi in. And I've been to meetings. She's fizzing like a first-term parliamentarian with new ideas, as well as all that experience and the ability. In the South Wairarapa and Featherston in particular, we've got really good, difficult decisions coming up. The rates infrastructure, the banes of local government, around the country, they hit us as pretty hard, and we need a really good council to combine for the benefit of all the 3 towns in the region. To really make some progress with changes that are coming, and some of those might be a bit scary. And a lot will depend on how well the transition to the new water service entity goes in the next 2 years. So there's a lot going on. I think it's a very creative and exciting opportunity to be involved with that. I've been around councils. I've worked with Wellington City mayors, not Fran in this case, and the chance to do something actually at the council table rather than giving support is something that really appeals to me.
Now, for those who are at home, we sent out questions to the candidates 48 hours before the show to give them a chance to do some research with quality answers. As we say here at ANZAC Ballot, we want quality answers, not hypotheticals based on them on the spot. So questions can be randomly put into different boxes in there. I don't know what boxes they are. He doesn't know what question cards are in which boxes. The whole game of it is you pick out a box number and go and answer the question. Now, each candidate here has been given 2 button cards. If they want to button in on another candidate's question, they raise the card up and patiently wait for the We also have one third card. This is the one that's not answering the question and making someone else answer it. So you can use that, but as I say, not many people actually do it because they like to get their answers out there. And each candidate gets 1 minute to sit there and do it. At 15 seconds, you'll get a little bell, a little tiny bell ring, and then at 1 minute, a bell will gradually go up in size. And Claire, how are you on your phonetic alphabet?
I'm very good, thank you.
Oh, that's good, because that makes our job easier knowing what numbers are what, especially between Mike and November.
Oh, don't worry, my dad was a pilot.
So Zulu, Kilo, Papa, India, Golf, what is that?
ZIGPG.
ZK, Flying pig.
Zulu?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, pigs might fly. Yep.
That's an ATC joke from my days at 49 Squadron on the Kempney Coast.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Rupert, what box number would you like to pick? You've got between 1 and 28.
I was almost going to say X to follow on Z, but
17. 17. Okay. I think there should be a drum roll for this.
So,
Victor.
benefit.
Okay. If you are an elected councillor, will you decelerate council spending on unwanted grand projects and concentrate on vital necessary infrastructure needs such as roading?
And I kick off on this.
This is
Right,
your
yes,
question, Kia ora.
Yeah, grand projects. Well, Martinborough's lucky. They've got the town hall already. And we've got the Squircle in Featherston. So I don't know of any other grand projects. And everyone these days has to be very, very careful about the vital and necessary infrastructure needs. And roading's a big one. And then there's all the wastewater, stormwater, all those vital things, balanced against the need to support our amenities so that that there's a heart and soul to the community as well, that the council enables.
Okay. Karen, what box number?
Oh, 5, please.
Okay.
Microphones are laid at home now.
Okay, drum roll, please. Yankee.
What?
Oh. Yep. When you are clear, really clear.
I'm ready.
Yep. Just read the one on the screen.
The one, oh God. Okay. I was so sorry.
Oh, do you want me to read it?
No, I've got a different one on my card.
Oh, yeah. Remember, I didn't print out the new cards. We're just doing letters.
Okay. Given the benefits of a more connected regional transport network, how can governance structures support the integration of passenger rail services between Horizons and Greater Wellington Regional Councils? And what steps are needed to ensure equitable funding, accountability, and service delivery across the region?
Sam,
This
can
is
I
for
just
you,
make a comment
Karen.
about that question? Is that we
That's
actually don't have
massive
Horizons
question.
Regional Council operating in the Wairarapa at all.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
wondering if I copied and pasted the wrong question somewhere.
Shall I read the one in the box?
What's the one in the box?
But actually, we can still probably, well, I'm not worried about answering this in a way. If we're Wellington Regional Councils run all the way right up to Ekatuna, and then Horizons takes from there. So if we put some of our rates into the Wellington Regional Council, and the South Wairarapa District Council have quite a bit to do with that, but I don't think it's, okay, I don't need to continue. It's probably a question if I was standing for the Wellington Regional Council.
No, hold on. So wife Yankee. Oh, I know what's happened where what the right one was put in the slide. The question should have been, what would you consider advocating for safer pedestrian crossings on our main arterial routes, such as either of the state highways pass through Featherston? So that. Oh, sorry, no, that's not.
No, I definitely love this question. Oh, God, this is totally it.
Take it away,
I do
Karen.
think that is a perfect question for Featherston.
Yeah.
Karen, can you answer it?
Okay, I would really like to have a go. Can I answer it?
I think I know what's gone wrong. Okay. I know exactly what's gone wrong. I've ended up selecting the wrong section on the stream deck. But let's go to X because we kind of, because I read it on the list. But let's go to X because that's the Featherston question.
So I am very, very into more pedestrian crossings and lower speed limits in the shopping area. We've had surveys right through the Wairarapa and central government's come and done the surveys, and not much has actually changed. I actually went round with the Mayor, Martin, saying that can we try and get a crossing from the Royal across to Wakefield Street, because I have seen so many older people trying to cross there and kids and so on, and was told it was impossible. And we have sudden changes down Highway 53 from 50 to 100, where loads of the kids are going across the road and families. So what I keep hearing is that's not us, that's them. And so I would really, really like to see much better strategic planning between NZTA or New Zealand Transport and the new mayor, because no is not good enough. I was even told outside the Royal, all that car parking area, oh, we can't use that, we can't, so I nearly painted the street myself. So, and actually up by Kuranui College, watching all the kids get off the bus, go across to the dairy, across the bus, child was nearly killed in Carterton, in front of a bus. It's a no-brainer. I'm actually quite animated about it, so definitely.
And I apologise, we're not the street deck. I loaded the graphics into the 7 PM slot, and then on the street deck keys, I pressed 4 PM instead of 7 PM on the profile, hence why the wrong cards popped up on there, and it would have been from a regional, was it Verizon Regional Council show that was in filming. So,
There you go.
we're not going to talk Verizon anymore. That's what happens when we've got so many things on the go. Now, Rachel, what box number?
Which is number 3, thank you.
Okay. Drum roll.
Here's hoping it matches.
Juliet.
So, I'm nervous now. That's Juliet.
Okay, none of these match what I've got, so
Okay.
Sorry?
doesn't matter.
Spending needs to happen within budget without increasing rates. What services or luxuries will you stop?
And that one does match the sheet I sent, that was sent out 2 days ago. I'm hoping. I'm now nervous now, and I'm probably about to sit there and check the emails.
Are there any buttons on that one?
Well, I have read the long-term plan quite thoroughly, and to be honest, I didn't see many luxuries in it. I saw that communities require services to be a community. I saw a lot of emphasis on our current priority being infrastructure. And when you think about what services or luxuries will stop, you have to think about the maintenance and provision of services needing to be reviewed and evaluated closely. In the South Wairarapa District Council, GDP per capita is 27,000 compared to a national average of 67,000, which I think is quite astounding. So we must be financially prudent and manage rate increases extremely carefully. So this is where reviewing services, setting priorities and ensuring projects are sustainable is essential. We do need, as Fran mentioned last night, partnerships to deliver services into the community, and wish list projects need to be managed in that way. The council's role is to act as advocate, leader and facilitator to ensure projects can be externally funded and delivered in a sustainable way. The question with things, for example, like new cycleways, new bridges over rivers, is who's responsible for ongoing maintenance as they add to the developed infrastructure in our district.
Oh, let's have a look, see, what have we got there? Oh, well, why don't we try 14? Is there 14 there?
There's a 14,
Well
yes.
done. Thanks, Claire.
So drum roll. Charlie.
Charlie.
Charlie's on, yeah. Should rural communities have a say in the operation of council-owned rural water schemes?
Oh, that's a different one. We actually don't have as such rural water scheme other than a water race network. And of course, that's managed by council, currently under the operations of Wellington Water. It does provide stock water from around the Taranaki, drawn from the Wahine, and it transverses through Greytown and the rural outlying areas. Also, we have Longwood Water Race Network, and that travels across more of the southern parts of the district. And the question, I guess, should Royal, I chaired the Waterways Committee for a number of years, and that was a make-up of council representative, which was myself as chair, and there were a number of stakeholders who were farmers who obviously had a very keen interest in the waterways network, and certainly particularly relating to stock watering operation. And they also had a role to play in terms of maintaining the network to ensure that it wasn't clogged up or blocked up in any particular way. So yes, I agree. We should have some responsibility in maintaining these waterways. Thank you.
Did you want to have a button card? Yes, Rachel.
Well, essentially, I agree with Colin. Rural communities, we are in a rural community here. That is absolutely essential to acknowledge that. They are significant communities of interest within South Wairarapa and absolutely should be able to contribute their point of view on rural issues, including water schemes, as Colin has described. The South Wairarapa District Council reviewed their representation recently across 2024 to ensure the rural voice can be heard at the governance table, and it was agreed to establish a coastal and rural advisory group. The name may differ slightly, I'm not sure, but in essence, a rural advisory group which will commence in the new triennium. And this is in addition to the existing arrangements of 3 representatives per ward and the addition of a Māori ward.
Okay, so now we've got a new list, and let's bring up a new order. Karen, what's the number?
8, please.
8. Another drum roll.
My hand seems to hurt here.
All right. M for Mama.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there and fall off the neck out regularly.
Sorry about that. Okay. Concerning the central government's messaging about councils being a core reason for the cost of the living crisis due to wasteful spending, do you think this is the case? Why or why not?
I think that's hilarious. It's a ridiculous statement. The end. Well, yeah, I mean, the cost of living in the normal sense of what we think of as cost of living is actually about your food and power utilities. A lot of people are renters, not ratepayers, so wouldn't affect them anyway. We haven't got massive car parking meters or massive water metering around here, and I don't think that's at all applicable to the South Wairarapa District Council. And I actually think that's the type of, these things highlight the poor relationship between central government and city councils, and Wayne Brown fighting with the government, and people, you know, at war with the government, which is idiotic in a small country. So again, like what Rupert said, another reason I stood is I also saw that I would learn a lot from Fran Wild, is that I believe that she could also help stop this. And so, I mean, yeah, that's really unhelpful if a government starts saying things like that, and those relationships need to improve a lot. Yeah.
Get them over and done with. I think that statement is hyperbole, as Karen pointed out. Local councils are responsible for identifying and managing local needs. Councils are responsible for a large range of mandatory and highly regulated services which are devolved from government that must be delivered alongside amenities that promote community wellbeing, parks, reserves, libraries, etc. The point really is that decision-making and spend should be transparent. If anything, government's role is to provide governance and governance support and expertise where required. For example, analytical support was provided by DIA on the options for local waters done well. They did a good job and it made a good read and I could understand it. Government should be providing financial assistance to councils with infrastructure development to ensure our communities have access to safe water, roads and transport solutions, especially outside of our main centres where our rural communities and farming sector are based.
Okay. Rachel, you now get to give the box number. Because this was decided to put you up to Karen in the random order.
Have we had number 4?
No, and I'll give it to you now, Rachel.
Thank you.
Bravo.
That's not,
Rachel,
oh.
do you support political party endorsement of local government candidates?
Let me find my answer because nothing matches.
Which list is this? Is it the examples that were given to you a while back, or is it the ones that were sent 2 days
The one that was sent 2 days ago.
ago? The emails, I'm wondering how you'll keep up with the matching up.
I know what the first answer, the first word is, but well, in essence, no.
Yeah, microphone.
Microphone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in essence, no. I think that local government should be free of political bias because it's about looking at a local level about what communities need, and you should be representing the mandate and the needs of the community at council without bias, political bias.
Okay, call it what box number?
Oh, gosh, you got 13 there. It's always my lucky number.
And here we go.
Glad it's lucky for some.
Did I win $1,000?
It is Zulu, not quite, but
Zulu.
maybe South Africa.
Wow, that's a really great question. I actually love that one. What's the big opportunity and challenge for you see for your district? Right. Let me stand up for this one because I need to take a breath. So obviously we've got local waters done well, and we've got the new entity being established by 2027, July 2027. That's the proposal from councils at the moment. They should stand up the entity by 2026, 2027. We move towards the removal of all our assets, and sorry, not the removal, but the transfer of the assets to the new entity, including the debt as well. So South Wairarapa District Council is going to look quite different. So we've got left roading, parks and reserves, cemeteries, footpaths, the things that really matter to people. As a small council and a small population base, can we continue to do that on our own? And that's the question mark. I'm not advocating amalgamation immediately, but what I am saying is that we need to start seriously thinking about how we're going to afford some of these things in the future. And if it means amalgamation, then so be it at the end of the day. I would expect our communities would be heavily involved in that decision-making process, but I, for one, would be supporting that move. Thank you.
What have we got?
Almost every box.
6? No, we've done that, haven't we?
No, I don't
No?
think so.
Okay.
Sitting
I
here.
have no idea what it is.
Ono. Sierra. Manawatu Wairarapa district has some cycleways along its arterial routes throughout the district. This is a core function that Wairarapa District Council should provide. Is this, a core function that the Wairarapa District Council should provide? or just a nice one to have?
Well, it's not a nice to have. It's part of looking forward to a better future, literally, for business and the community, developing our part of the South Wairarapa as a growth hub. That's been mentioned here and there in the debate so far. The cycling hub in particular, and the little associate sort of businesses that can spin off from that. Pop-up, and this is something that the council could be involved in, like pop-up repair cafes and things like that, and teaching people more self-help, the reusing, repairing appliances and things. There could be quite a lot of support for making the cycling thing much more real than it is so far. So I'd say it's an essential thing. It's not nice to have, and doesn't need a lot of money.
Now let's read your another list in your order. And Rachel, you need to go first. What box number?
Let's do number 15.
Certainly. Sorry, whoops. Te Marima, 15. Oscar. Issues around climate change are becoming more important. Yep. Issues around climate change are becoming more important. What are candidates' thoughts on supporting anaerobic digestion of food waste to produce biogas similar to the plant in Reparoa? Please note, this is not incineration of general waste.
In principle, I agree with innovative approaches to food waste, e.g. green waste collection for composting or anaerobic digestion of food waste. However, I would need to see both options outlined, which analyse environmental and financial impacts alongside longevity and sustainability in order to comment in a truly informed fashion.
Okay, pull up what box number?
Right, what have we got? 13's gone, isn't it? So, oh.
What's number? Lucky number?
What's a lucky number? Oh, 16. Have we got a 16 then?
Yes.
We
It's always been my
do.
lucky number. I've won a few raffles that way.
Te Ono.
Tukana Ornwell.
Oh, yeah, 16 is the coronation driver's license.
It is.
Feels weird considering I was 15 years. 15.
I got mine at 15.
Golf. The Government and Taxpayers Union have been accusing councils of being irresponsible with large percentage rate increases. What is your view?
Well, I get all the sticky questions, don't I? Okay, so communities, council goes out every year and every 3 years with a long-term plan, and what they look at is what we need in our communities, and the community tell us. We don't tell them; they tell us what their vision is, what the expectations are of council in the way of service delivery, etc. And we go back and we put it through a grinder and we have a look at how much this is actually going to cost. And some things we have to take a bit of a knife to and say we can't afford to do that simply because it's really outside the constraints of our budget. So what we try to do as councillors, remember we're feeding into this machine that's chugging away there, pumping out the dollars and cents, to make sure that what rates are set are affordable for our communities. Now, over the years, of course, this has been of real concern because we've seen it firsthand that maintenance on infrastructure has deteriorated. It's deteriorated to a point where it's exceeded its lifespan as an underground utility, I'm talking about more so than anything. Simply because councils over the years have looked at that big grinding wheel that's grinding up the rates increases and taking a knife to it and cutting it back. Suddenly we find ourselves in a situation where that infrastructure, we can't continue to cut rates. And you have seen over the last couple of years that we've had to increase rates basically to keep up with the renewals and the repairs on the infrastructure. We've got a long way to go. And I'm hoping that rates will be contained. I don't believe in a rate cap. I think rates will be contained once we've sorted out waters, which, as I say, July next year and the following year, we'll have a more realistic view of what our rates are going to look like moving into the future. Thank you.
Uh, 11.
Tacoma Tahi. Quebec. What would your solution be to implement?
Oh, yeah, there's a space to put brackets. So yeah, no, there's a blurb on the top that's in the question sheet, but not on the brackets.
This is the question before.
The blurb is council has lost many of the staff who have road engineering and planning skills and have contracted out these activities. This has led to a blowout of costs for work. 40% of road and repair costs go to traffic management. And then over to you, Claire, and the question.
What would be your solution to employing the appropriate staff in council and using local expertise and businesses rather than outsourcing the work?
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with this. Yeah, I don't know about the 40% increase in costs through that. It's just an unfamiliar. Yeah, Colin, take over.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for that. I can understand, Rupert, because it's quite a number of years ago since council actually employed its own contracting staff, and they used to have a depot down here in Harrison Street on the corner of where Amur is now. Yeah, absolutely right. So it's some time since we've actually done that, and the reason that was that change came about is because the cost of actually employing our own staff, the cost of actually providing our own machinery and equipment couldn't be matched by those of contractors who were looking for that type of work at the time. That's not to say things haven't changed, I might add, but the economies were there in terms of contracting out those services and removing those staff from council's employment. Today's environment's quite different, to be quite honest, in terms of keeping staff on board. The staff we actually have within council have staff that are engaged in roles that vary from health and wellbeing of our communities to infrastructure to planning and regulatory, which are government requirements. So a whole raft of things, but not the physical spade and shovel stuff that used to be done. So I don't see us ever getting back to that day, to be quite honest, because we've got ample contractors within our region to be able to continue to provide those services to a high standard to council. Thank you. Yeah, so we have a roading network team called Rumahanga Roads, and it's a joint operation with Fulton Hogan and Carterton and South Wairarapa District Councils.
Yeah, thank you. There's a few things about that question I don't like, and many of the people who are working as contractors are local people. So regardless of where they're from, I know many people who work as contractors here for outside the council, and they live here. So they're not coming in from the South Island or Australia, wherever. They're actually local people with families. The company that do road traffic management do a fantastic job, and they employ a whole lot of people and work extremely hard, and I'm very proud of the road traffic management they do around the region. It's a hodgepodge, mishmash nightmare, Highway 2. It's dangerous. So I think that was raised, the traffic management. One issue I do think I would like reviewed is the rubbish collection. Ever since many have said to me about $5 a bag for just your plastic rubbish. When we went to Earthcare Environmental, which was a small company, that price went up and up and up. And I would like to see some of those big contracts looked at, because the people who run the yellow bags also run the bins. So there's not much competition there. And many have said to me when they're struggling with food that they can't actually afford a $5 rubbish bag a week. The idea is to, use recycling, don't have much rubbish, but we all know we end up with it. So yeah, I think that's something for, if there is research done on it, why not? If people do have the energy and time to look at the affordability, or as a Numa or any new chief executive would do it. But it's not all bad and it's not all good.
I remember finding a place that you buy most rubbish bags for 5 simple units, because I get supermarkets they sold with tax 5, which would is about $5 thing. I remember it being $18. I remember there was very tough years pre-2020, and I know how tight the budget can get when you into trying to pull things out. Karen, you get your next box number.
28, please, Claire.
Go for the candidate, so that's a great point. Why you don't do a lot?
Rua te kau mawaru. Kilo. How do you plan to use deliberative democracy to ensure residents can directly contribute to the challenges our urban and rural communities face? I think that was
Sorry,
right.
I'm nervous because every time I see a question come out, I keep looking at the sheet.
It did work,
Yeah.
both
Okay,
sheet and this.
thank you. This is a really broad question. I don't know what deliberative democracy is. I've never heard of it. Sorry. I guess that, it's how long is a piece of string, about how often you consult and how much time you've got, So I actually think that if you've got staff who are experts, qualified, that is their job to find the best solutions of about, say, three possible ways of doing things. But if you go out all the time going, well, how high would you like this lamppost, and where exactly would you want this rubbish bin, then I don't think that's democracy. I'm going to go off this. I think the way that we snail mail vote for a start on these local elections is appalling. I'm embarrassed that New Zealand still does this. I think it's very anti-youth and anti-young people that even use the post. And then we wonder why we have like 45, 50% voting. So until they sort out this local government voting system, how are you going? You can't just social media and make a comment and 3 years later maybe post a vote. A lot needs to be done to increase democracy and involvement in local government.
Google's brought up examples of deliberative democracies where citizens' assemblies, citizens' juries, or public forums and town hall meetings.
Oh, right. Well, I got that wrong.
Yeah. No.
Didn't know what it was.
No, can I butt in?
Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. No, I hadn't heard of deliberative democracy either. But sort of in community engagement needs to be always improved on. Consultation is taken very much for granted, and it's done in a very light-handed sort of way. Many councils, I think, including this one. And when they're really fundamentally important issues, and when there's a lot of trust between the community and the council has been eroded in the last few years. The last council, had a pretty rough time in many ways. There's a lot of trust that needs to be built back, and sometimes it needs a more proactive role from the council, and the community board would be involved here too, to actually get to the grips of what what people want done. A tiny example: the horses used to cross the Tohuranika, don't now, because the council, without realising, someone made the gate down by the track that leads down to the river near the new cycle bridge, which is wonderful, and some big concrete barriers have been put in front of the track that was otherwise there to stop quad bikes, and so there's a little gate that a person can walk through, and a BMX actually, but a horse can't anymore. So people from Greytown and this side, who used to cross the river, can't now. And I was talking to a couple of people that just came up and randomly, but different people, and it was like, well, have you talked to the council? But nah, no point. It's like, that really got me going, like, no point, right, okay, watch the space. So but it's a big thing. This is a little rural town, people ride horses, yes. So this might be anticipating my closing statement. If I get elected and can't organize that darn gate to fit a horse, then all my efforts will have been pointless. So
Okay, yeah, we've got another round of questions. Rupert, what wants to know?
Okay, what's that one? 24.
Am I allowed to interrupt? I know I've used my button card.
You can have
Am I
mine.
allowed to interrupt?
Have mine.
Thank you, Rupert. Because I think this is a really important question. Thank you, Rupert. And I also had to look it up. Sorry. Yes, I'm talking to you. Thank you, Rupert, for your button card. I also had to look up deliberative democracy because I was like, I have no idea. But I do think it is a very positive concept and it has something to offer. And there was an excellent article by Mika Hervel, which won a significant award, where he spoke to this. And he said that it fosters trust between citizens and experts, and it encourages place identity and pride. Enabling people to empathise and identify with different people is ultimately a good thing for building a more cohesive and connected society. And when the community board was speaking, I was like, this is got the potential to be introduced at community board level for talking about some things like berm planting and street signs, where we want full community engagement. And he said that core elements of deliberative democracy, such as collective decision-making, deliberative discussion and consensus, are all features of Māori wānanga. So it's the idea of just talking through and having lots of different points and being able to come to a consensus together in the same room, and actually kind of taking the idea of council representation, where you've got 3 people from each ward, a step further, and bringing people from the community, from a range of backgrounds, skills and experiences together, helping them to understand the concept, and then, talking it through and coming to something that everybody agrees on, in which case you get much better engagement and more follow through from the community, because it's the community that have developed and worked with the idea. And Porirua City Council is one place in Aotearoa that is engaging with this a little. So I think there's a place for it. It's not my decision alone or our decision alone to use it. The question is, how is it feasible to bring it in to council procedures and make it work? It does cost more time and more money.
Okay, and I've just had a flurry of messages from me saying your microphone's been turned off the whole time, which hopefully that hasn't detracted away from the important questions, though. So, Rupert, we were at you to. Oh, Claire's got the card, so we just got to go.
Right.
God, we feel like I keep falling off script here.
This is Delta.
Don't use the airline.
Okay. What is your view on residential, commercial and industrial growth in the district?
I'd like
Oh, sure. Oh, button first.
Button afterwards? That's fine.
On the residential side, I think there are a lot of initiatives for different kinds of housing and housing ownership, co-housing, various forms of community housing. And I think they could be underlined a lot more. I'm just thinking of Fareham House. I can't remember if they've had big problems with council. Someone was talking to me about a while back, but I think all those slightly out of left field ideas, could get really pushed and supported a lot more. Commercial and industrial. Well, yeah, funny things happen. With the zoning and things, where I live in Watt Street, which is just comes out onto the State Highway. There's open ground at the moment, and the owner's a very nice guy, and he's the one doing modular housing. And there's one, it's been a real hassle for him. God, I don't know, but he was on the point of selling half of that section to a petrol company, a Z, not Z, it was another one, but similar to that. And the effect that would, fortunately, big bureaucracy worked in our favor that time, because NZTA said no, because they required hundreds of thousands worth of changes to happen to, conform to their standards. Thank heaven, because just no, like, what would the whole community say about that? Okay, you can have one of them. That's going to be the entrance to your town. You can't do anything about it. It's not. Don't think they even need to notify it. What would happen to our existing business, Adamson's, much loved in the middle of town, right? Some may not be in the best place, but industrial growth. God. But the commercial thing, it goes back a lot to what we can do in the main road, and the vexed question of the building upgrades and things.
Well, Karen does want to get to her button now. Oh, not particularly. Oh, okay.
There we go. So a few ideas, but not very deep ones.
I'd like to just say, I think that would come back to that question about council expertise, because I know that the building, you mentioned Fareham, I know that building is contracted out, and I know of a building person who had to go through 4 different people, and that costs them every time. And so those are the things I think that question might have been trying to get to, is not so much contracting out with the locals, but contracting out with tertiary people, on and on and on. Anyway, have you got a rebut for that?
Well, no, I haven't, but I will butt it anyway. I've been thinking about the green belt, because when I was living in London, they had this fantastic green belt. So you go to the shires and you go to the pubs and you have this country experience. And what concerns me greatly after living in Auckland for 30 years is the urban sprawl. So when I was a kid, there was seemed to go hours from Auckland to Albany, hours from Howick out to Whitford and so on, even from Howick to Otara. It was this massive drive through the country. It is not like that at all now. That has been on my mind. And I think about biodiversity. That the Carterton, it says the district, so I now think of it as quite large. The chop of Carterton and house, and more of this happening here is that and then a spatial plan for Martinborough and so on. But I wish New Zealand, and I would love this area to really examine the benefits of green belts, or else we will have all as one lifestyle block for the white upper class, frankly. And I really would, how about some state houses going up rather than out and things. I am concerned about residential, commercial and industrial growth in the area.
Okay. Rachel, what box number?
Oh, well, let's hazard a guess. Have we done 23? Is that gone?
Let's have a look. I don't think so. Rua te kau mai toro. Tango. This term, the outgoing mayor has been under great pressure and at times been treated with derision by councillors. How will you ensure respect, working with differing views, accountability and transparency?
Fostering a culture of respect underlies everything. Allowing people to be heard, allowing difference of opinion without losing sight of basic respect and courtesy underlies a non-bullying, safe environment for everyone, mayor, councillors, staff, members of the community. Divisive issues require listening and compromise to find a shared path forward. I'm committed to respectful relationships with the community and with council. I'm good at listening to all points of view, but believe while we can all share what we think, we must be respectful in our encounters with each other as humans, as people meeting each other across the table and living and working in the same community together. He waka eka noa. We are all in this together. We rise together, fall together, work together, and keep going together. We are all part of the same community that we cherish, be it the land, the lake, the towns, the people. Let's work together.
Okay, next up, Colin.
Right, what have we got this time?
A few boxes left.
What about number 9 there, Claire?
Oh,
Number 9, thanks, Claire.
okay. Iwa.
You are.
Whiskey.
Whiskey, yep.
I know, very.
Yeah, I'm a bit of that now. and then,
That's
yeah.
W in the phonetic alphabet.
Why do you think you're right for the role as councillor?
Yes. Why do you think you're right for the role as a councillor?
Thank you, Claire. That's a very good question, actually. It's one that I guess that I've thought about over a large number of years, since 2013, in fact. What could I bring that gives me, I guess, the right to stand up here, or the privilege to stand up here in front of our community and represent them? One is that I've been a human person, or a person, for instance, who's very much in touch with humankind for many generations. I served 27 years as a civil defence policeman and mastered in a voluntary role, and I learned to understand human nature, the people that you're dealing with, because they weren't always desirable people, but a lot of them were really heartfelt people as well, who are really hard done by in community. So it's really important you understand the makeup of your community. It's really important that you have some empathy with some of those in the community as well. And it's also important to see what you personally can contribute yourself. I mean, there hasn't been, I think there's very few organisations around Featherston over the last 30 years that I haven't been involved in. I'm still Deputy Chair of our ANZAC Hall, and I hold that position proudly. I was Chair and stood down for Liz Mellish 2 or 3 years ago, but this hall means something special to me because it's got historical significance, and it also is part of us as a community. Yeah, I feel I've got some work to do yet, but I feel that I can represent our community to the best of my ability, and I've proven that I can do just that. Thank you.
Okay, and Karen.
Microphone.
What's left?
There are quite a few boxes, but
I'll just pick one.
all right. Fetu, 7. X-ray. Okay.
Huh.
Would
Oh,
you?
we've already done that one.
Yeah.
Shall we do Y?
Okay. Sorry, I will open.
Grab another box.
Taco 10, and that's indigo. No? Ooh. Do you support implementing safer speed limits around our schools within the South Wairarapa District territorial limits?
I seem to get the easy questions, and I think that they are already down. So South Featherston School's got it, Kaitara's got it, Latara. I don't think that's a question that would, I think we would have them. So what I could add to that, I don't know that we need to go to 20. I think they're generally 40, 30, 20.
So-
Another question.
Yeah, go ahead. And does Colin want to use up his button card while he's got that there, and then we'll get to the last
Yeah,
question?
sorry. Look, I just, we're currently working through a speed management review at council, and we'll have that signed off before the end of the triennium, just for your information, I guess. And of course, the important things around Marae and schools, alongside a number of other areas is important and forth in front of our minds at the moment.
Okay, can you grab Karen another question so she has a much fairer one? Yeah. So grab another box
Okay.
of Karen to give her a more
All
difficult
right.
question.
We will do Te Kaumahuaru, 18.
Oh, the good old age to vote, drink.
Oh,
What? Oh, can you get sent overseas in the military at 18? I think it's 18.
Not sure. If you drink too much, you might put on the kilos.
Okay, so what's the actual question number?
Kilo.
Now that's actually really good, Claire. I like that.
Oh, thank you. How do you plan? No, we've had it.
K
How
for
do you
kilo.
plan-
Jinx.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I'm going to go to Rua. It's
Ru-
going to be easier. And that's November.
and I think we've done that one as well. Did no one check the cards where 1 to was it A to Z's in there?
Okay, I will give you Foxtrot. Okay. There has been much media coverage about candidates' behaviour towards their fellow candidates all over the country. What are your personal values that make you a suitable candidate to be a councillor?
Yeah. Personal values. I don't know. Well, I've been reading a book recently, which makes me to be a tiny speck of sand on a quite small planet that's going around a sun that is not even the biggest star sun in the universe, and there are other universes and galaxies. And sometimes I think when you look under a microscope too closely and you're too intense and it matters so much, that is when you can't see the wood for the trees. You can't go back and go, oh, what are we doing here again? What is the outcome we want? And I think I've come to the age, and I think my experience, and also having young children, is that just step back. You don't have to be on top of everything. You're not in charge of everything. There's many different ways of looking at things, and I think, and I am also a people person too. You listen to other people and realise we're all very different, and no one is an expert. And I think that's, for me, live and let live a lot, I think, is one of my personal values. And others, I think this is a good question for everyone, really. Everyone would want to answer that. Yeah, that's about right. Too intense about things.
Okay, we're going to hit our mid-time break now. Thank you, candidates, for working through a interesting show. So we'll take a 10-minute break and then we'll come back for hard-hitting questions.
Thank you, Sam.
We're taking a pause, just a short little little breather to stretch out your legs. You don't need a leader. The live stream will be back, so don't go too far. But for now, you can wander wherever you are. Intermissions aren't really a thing anymore, but we think they're cool, a tradition to adore. A moment to breathe, have a laugh, maybe chat. There's magic in breaks, and we're keeping that. Head to the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Into the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. just a short little breather to stretch out your legs. You don't need a leader. The live stream will be back, so don't go too far. But for now, you can wander wherever you are. Intermissions aren't really a thing anymore, but we think they're cool, a tradition to adore. A moment to breathe, have a laugh, maybe chat. There's magic in breaks, and we're keeping that. Head to the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Get to the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. The lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime.
Think about people.
Yeah, it felt like an educated one. All right, give her, it's 18. Okay, so.
Ready for hard-hitting questions, and you'll have to use the computer.
We're not gonna need to put in on the question, because every candidate has to answer the hard-hitting questions.
Oh, that seems to be a bit of a short one there, but that's all good. That's all good. So let's. So how many questions are questions we get all candidates to answer? You can't use your voting cards. You can't use your preferred cards, and each candidate has 1 minute to answer them. Let's kick off with hard-hitting question number 1. Regarding the quote of $270 million of final cost of the Featherston wastewater plant, initially $17 million for the next 10 years. This is to expensive the Featherston small community where there are locals more affordable solutions such as storm water infiltration is affecting the wastewater ponds to the detriment level of Moana. B, the sludge in the WWPs is so large and are affecting the performance of the ponds. And C, addressing the territorial treatment DAF solutions locally. How will you affordably address these issues and in what priority? Well, that feels a bit of a tongue twister.
Wow.
Rachel, you get to go first.
Well, it's quite easy.
I don't have enough information at my fingertips to answer that very complex set of questions as I'm not in council currently. However, we should always be asking the question, what is the best option? Our wastewater plants are being reinvigorated or desludged, I think might be the right word, and there are plans for future development. Stormwater management is a must to protect roading, housing and the environment. So questions, setting priorities and seeking funding with the key focus on resilience of infrastructure, sustainability and the protection of our environment, more specifically our waterways and our very precious Wairarapa moana.
Yeah, this is another one for me, isn't it? Yeah, love these curly ones. I'm not sure where you got the 270 million from, probably from Wellington Water. That was their original estimate. I think you'll find it's now $170 million. It's still a lot of money. That's over 10 years, and that covers our entire South Wairarapa District Council network. So it's not particularly solely Featherston. Featherston, we do have to spend $17 million on, and we do have to get that right to make sure that we treat any disbursement of wastewater into Wairarapa moana. It has to be pure, it has to be clean, it has to be suitable for the environment. My minute will be run up shortly. I has always been a problem in this town, that's stormwater infiltration. Unless we start from scratch, renew every pipe, and we've been doing that periodically throughout the years. There's been a certain amount of pipe renewals that have been undertaken to try and reduce that I&I. Cameras have been popped up the pipe, up the drains to see where that infiltration's actually coming from. Some areas have been identified, some areas haven't. We also have to take into consideration that the community are responsible for stormwater drainage down our sewage network as well, to some extent. So sometimes, in some cases, the pipes may be inadvertently diverted into the into our wastewater rather than through a normal storm outlet. The sludge in our ponds at South Wairarapa is not, in Featherston is not extreme, not by any means, whereas Greytown and Martinborough has been desludged. Greytown's being desludged later this year, so that'll increase the performance of those holding ponds. DAF solutions, yeah, I think we've looked at everything in terms of the way that we're treated, and I think the new entity, the Wairarapa plus Taurua Water Service Delivery Plan, will identify all those areas and improve really good, efficient outcomes for our communities. Thank you.
Karen.
Yep. Looking at the question, which I think has come from somewhere around Featherston.
Yes, it's the ones to come through the question form locally.
Yeah, the biggest concern there seems to be the detriment of moana. So going backwards, it would be more, that Greater Wellington taking their water samples, replanting down the front, making sure that this person and others feel that is treated as a taonga and it is looked after in its own right. And then, or again, like I said before, there are scientists and experts and modelling and other areas of New Zealand with similar problems that I think we will come to the right decision, and it will cost what it costs. And but I can see that it's sort of the main reason for that question is about environmental protection. So I trust that staff and experts in research will come to the right decision. It will be what it is.
Okay, Rupert.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm glad I'm the last person to answer this question because I feel very unqualified to do it. So we've heard I think, good things from everybody. The work that's going, it is fantastic that the moana is now so key to everyone's sort of strategic thinking about these issues. Incredibly complex. People were talking last night, I think the mayor candidates meeting about the need for lateral thinking, and I'm curious about what's going on up in Reparoa and the sort of other forms of waste disposal, anaerobic and so on. I'm interested in getting to understand some of these really critical issues a little bit better in the future.
Okay, let's get on to question number 2, which is a little bit simpler. Do you support amalgamation with Carterton, Marston and or Taurua District Council? Why or why not? And let's kick off with... no, random order, let's put Karen at the top.
Good on you, Karen.
Seems like a simple question, but it's not a yes or no answer from me. Again, it goes on what the actual model would be. Already, like Carterton and Greytown, Martinborough and Featherston, Carterton has increasingly started to inch towards South Wairarapa. They're sharing communication staff, library services. There's already quite a lot of sharing going on between Carterton and South Wairarapa. So again, rather than this great amalgamation that perhaps people get quite frightened of and voted down a while ago, it would be reaching out more to Marston to go, well, what have you got that we can share? You know, the event centre Carterton's amazing. Well, the Waihingi down there is underutilised. It's looking at what we've got, pulling resources more, pulling some things together. I don't think it's a yes, oh yes, chuck it all together, that'll be the answer. But just a lot more thinking around the region as a whole does not mean chucking out the baby with the bathwater.
Okay, Colin.
Yes, this is have we got 1 minute for this, have we? Because
Yes.
I could speak all day on it, but
Please stick to 1 minute.
So amalgamation, yeah, we can talk about that. It's been a word that's sort of been put a little bit behind closed doors since the attempt was made in 15 and again in 17 to try and amalgamate the 3 district councils. There's a lot going for it, I have to say, and we currently have 3 mayors, 3 libraries, 3 staffing resources to affect each council. There's no economies of scale the way we operate at the moment, and I believe at the end of the day that's where we can look seriously at making those savings. We'd have 1 district. We've got just over 40,000 people across the Wairarapa, which is not significant by any means. We would have to consider how we would look in terms of representation. My view, of course, is always that we strengthen community boards within our 3 towns to make sure that they are adequately resourced and prepared to represent our communities as a whole. Likewise, the district as a whole, then you'd obviously have elected councillors for that. So I have to say, if we capture Taurua, as we have done with local waters done well, I think that would be a real bonus. We share synergies with Taurua, given that they've got Dannyverk, Woodville, Paiatua and Eketahuna. We've got Carterton. We've got Greytown, Featherston and Martinborough. So we do share some synergies here, and the age of their infrastructure is not dissimilar to ours. So that's about all at this stage.
Okay, Rachel.
I say yes to amalgamation, well thought out, planned for and implemented, like the local water done well, should give the best bang for the buck. With approximately 70,000 people across 4 districts, that gives an improved rating base and, in principle, Savings should be able to be made across all areas. Water, a word that I've written on my computer that I don't even understand. Waste, I think it's meant to be. Roading, due to shared or centralised council governance, operations and IT. A shared vision that encompasses the whole district in its planning and economic development. The biggest question for me, and I suspect for you, and Colin has addressed this, is what will the representation pathway look like and what will the funding be into local development? It's probably fair to say we're all a little parochial, so we have to get over that. As always, the devil is in the detail, but I think we need to do it for cost efficiencies achieved through scale.
Okay, Rupert.
Yeah, I agree. I think good points have been made by everyone, including Karen. Just moving a little bit up the line slowly and carefully towards the middle of the Wairarapa first, but in general, the principle certainly yes.
Okay, let's get on to hard-hitting question number 3. We believe that is the most important question for the local body elections. What's your position on retaining the Te Karo o Te Iki a Māori ward for the South Wairarapa District Council and the Te Upoko o Te Iki a Maui Māori constituency for the Greater Wellington Regional Council, and why do you hold that position? And let's start with Rachel.
Yes, we absolutely should retain Te Karo o Te Ika a Maui Māori ward for South Wairarapa District Council and the Te Upoko o Te Ika a Maui Māori constituency for Greater Wellington Regional Council. As mana whenua and kaitiaki of these rohe area, hapu and iwi absolutely should have a voice. We hold a partnership with Māori through the treaty. Retaining both these boards ensures participation and the voice of Māori at the table, representing the protection and equity of iwi and hapu. Speaking to the South Wairarapa, we have many cultural heritage sites which are taonga within our district, including Wairarapa Moana, right here in Featherston, Paitumokai Ward. Together, the Māori Standing Committee and Te Karo o Te Ika a Maui Māori Ward provide a voice, allowing for cultural guidance and advice as kaitiaki.
Okay, Rupert.
I'm a strong supporter of Māori wards, definitely. It's just fundamental to the society we're trying to evolve in Aotearoa, New Zealand now. And I quite strongly resent the way the government plays political football with it.
Karen.
I, in some ways, feel unqualified to answer the question. I don't want to see tick box exercises because we have a Maori person, because we should. I think with the Treaty of Waitangi that all of us should be along the road enough to actually understand a lot more about New Zealand as Pākehā, New Zealand, Māori, Samoan, Chinese, Indian, etc., to also be able to bring that Te Ao Māori to the table without having to say, "Oh, we must have this because no one else knows how to do it." So that sounds sceptical, but I would, before I would even answer that, like to see what the people who have done this role feel they've added that councillors and other standing committees and so on couldn't add, and what their stakeholders in particular, and people like me and others, think about how that has gone. I think I don't think it's something I could just have an opinion on and go, "Oh yes, that sounds good." I have no idea what the achievements have been, or the benefits, or the disadvantages of not. It is becoming political football. that doesn't mean that we must have it. I'm not sure.
Okay, Colin.
Thank you for this this question, because I was one of the councillors who, of course, voted supporting a Maori ward on council for this particular triennium. But I'll give you a little bit of history here, and I hope you'll bear with me for a couple of seconds. I grew up out at Tauru, just out of the back of Masterton there, and it was a community that we had, or Tauru School actually had a population of around about 17 students. Out of those students, 10 of those were Maori, and they were my neighbours, they were my friends. Their mothers used to look after us when my parents were away. So my relationship started very early with Maori. Te reo Maori in school, of course, was frowned upon. It wasn't spoken, and yet it was freely spoken in the households that we stayed at with my friends. Go forward a few years, and I was appointed to the Rimahanga Whaitua Committee. Fran was the chair of regional council at the time, and along with that appointment, there were Maori representatives, two Maori from the Tuiwi, from Ngāti Kahungunu and Rangitāne, appointed to that committee also. Now that process took something like 4.5 years. It was 4.5 years of my life that I committed to making sure that we had our rivers, lakes, waterways, and our land values respected in every possible way. Now, I learnt a lot, I have to say. I learnt a lot from Maori, and having Maori around the table telling us about the cultural significance of specific sites, etc., was critical to our decision-making process, and I believe the same will apply around the council table. So I fully support it, and I'm really disappointed this government ever put it to a referendum in the following election.
Okay, thank you for that. So now let's get to our candidates' closing statements of why they should receive one of your free positions, free councillors, which is one of your free ticks to be elected as the next South Wairarapa General Ward Councillor. Karen, you get to go up first. Microphone.
Well, I find it very strange not pitching to an actual audience and people and no one there. I'm nervous here. And I greatly detest pick me type of things. So I don't know why I stood for council. But that's not my ending closing statement. I was thinking how much I just like having to put your name forward. But I've done it, as I said at the opening statement, because I bring a lot of experience of government. I was a student politician in Auckland University. I was raised in a political family. My dad used to vote social credit. I just felt it was time after having lived here for so long, and so many people talk to me like I must be fairly approachable, and I just love hearing what people have got to say, and I think I'm a good conduit taking that to meetings along with my research and reading, that I listen carefully, and I can bring that actual voice authentically to the council, because I'm pretty loyal. So that's a reason I think I make a good councillor.
Okay, next up, Colin.
Yes, thank you for this. What makes me think I'm going to be a good councillor? I still think I've got an awful lot to offer. I think it's really important that councils look at succession planning, because people like me aren't getting any younger, and I was of two minds whether I should seek re-election in this particular term. But the excitement for me was the fact that we were looking at significant changes that are occurring in this triennium that I've never seen in the past triennium. So the knowledge base that I'd built up working in that specific area of council, I believe at the end of the day that I can carry that knowledge on through, but I can also pass on knowledge to incoming councillors about some of the historical things that we've actually done right in the past. You know, we haven't done everything wrong. In fact, we've tried and failed in some areas, but we've also gained a lot of ground in a lot of other areas. And it's important incoming councillors get to know a little bit of history about what's happened. I've served under 4 mayors. 4 mayors, sorry. Yeah, I've served under 4 mayors to date, you know, so this one will be a 5th if I get re-elected. And I don't know if that's always particularly good for a community to have a wholesale change of mayors, wholesale change of councillors. I mean, the last triennium, I think we had 6 or 7 new councillors. That's quite significant. When I first got on council, we had 2 new councillors, so I learnt a lot from those more experienced around the table. And I probably made a couple of mistakes and quite a couple of outspoken comments in those early days, and I got wrapped around the knuckles a couple of times as well. So, but I still think I've got a lot to give, a lot of value to add around that council table. I'm still fit. I've still got all my marbles, so I'm going to give it my best shot. Thank you.
Okay, Rupert.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, councils, you know, all around the country are having a hard time, and it's like, at least in South Wairarapa, we're having elections, because in some places there aren't. People just aren't putting their hands up. And I think that I want to turn that around a little bit if I get the chance to bring a bit more optimism and positivity into South Wairarapa anyway, where the 3 towns can really work together, have a council that addresses some pretty tough issues, communicates really well with the people, consults even better, and can really reshape a decent relationship between, because it's so important. Local government, it's, you know, the heart and soul and the bones of what we do. I'm open-minded. I get on well with people, and I've suddenly found myself pushed out from my comfort zone and thinking, yeah, right, I'm up for this.
Okay, and Rachel.
I'd like to start by tautoko what Colin says about having a diversity of people on council and succession planning, because we do need to look backwards in order to move forwards and understand our history and what has gone before and the really valuable work that people have done in laying strong foundations, because it's from those strong foundations that we move forward. So this statement summarises my position in putting myself forward to represent you. Respect, open dialogue and collaboration are crucial as we tackle those gnarly problems head on. In terms of council and our community, meaningful consultation, which allows the community input, transparency in decision making and positive communication are essential to establishing that trusting relationship, and one through which our community can see the wins on the board for Featherston Paetumokai. As a community, we need to understand council's priorities and decision-making processes. And I think it was you, Karen, you used the word conduit. It's kind of a two-way communicative relationship. Engagement needs to be easy for everyone to contribute their thoughts in a respectful way. As your councillor, I can assure you I will be accessible and involved. I will listen to your views and do my best to represent the needs of the Featherston community at the table. My aim is to communicate clearly and effectively with you, supporting the communications already put out by council. Do vote for me. I'm an approachable and authentic voice. Ngā mihi.
Okay, thank you for that, candidates, for coming. Now, just a little bit of housekeeping before we go. It's in the Ballot Productions is an independent non-profit organisation funded by small dollar donations. If you'd like to help contribute to make these projects a success, please feel free to head to either our Give a Little page that is on the QR code on screen. You can also head to our Eventbrite pages and use the option Koha without a mission, and that would sit there and do it. Or if you want to have the money get there the quickest and fastest way, you can head to our website where you can find our Kiwi Bank account number and do a direct deposit into our bank account and help make things go through there. Or if you want to become a regular supporter of It's in the Ballot Productions shows, which includes the It's in the Ballot shows that you're seeing right here and our was it Order Paper podcast that we do on Sundays at normally at 8 p.m, but during it's the ballot season, it's at 9. You can see what information we sit there and provide to make up on the week. You're welcome to sit there and do that. Can I also please have a big thanks to the candidates for coming out tonight and putting their feet to the fire. The great thing is you're on camera, this is there, and hopefully voters, when their voting papers arrive and they get a little bit stuck, they watch it's in the ballot to find out who to cast their ticks for. I'd also like to thank Claire for being our question host and for coming in to help us set up. We were running a bit behind when we came in this morning, but we made things work and we got here. Can we also thank, Team Nick and Paul for running the show remotely? Making these shows work? And also thanks to Stacey for doing all the graphics team. And thank you to our audience who have participated in there. It's not easy having, some places you have packed halls, some places you don't. So I'm very pleased with what's been on there. And for those who are wanting to see our next show, we do also have later on tonight the Te Karo o Te Iki ao Maui Māori Ward show at 7 p.m. in the same venue here. So if you want to join us, you can watch us live on 7 p.m. or you can, if you're in Featherston, come down and see it in person. Laura will be hosting the show at 7 p.m. So let's get ready and have a good evening.
Thank you.